We are finally getting some accountability.
You two niggas, y'all talk the most shit
Dog.
about being. I've been there before, dog. I done did this. Me and her, we done Eskimo twins on 50. Blah, 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 blah. And then y'all act like birds, man.
Not I said the dog. You bugging.
I would like to respond to Mark. I'll give you the floor if you'd like to do the
Mark
same.
is bugging.
Go
I was
go
regular
ahead.
on me.
You was not radio. You
was in his bag.
Yo, dog.
I have never heard your voice that deep.
Yo, when's your birthday? What sign?
I barely spoke.
Yeah, he did. What's your sign? He hit it with the what's your sign, dog. Come on, man.
Watch your mouth. Tell my man. Hey, that shit worked. You know that's funny.
She got mad at
And then
Flip. No, he was supposed
took
to
the
say
soul
that.
out your chest when you was like, yeah, wilding out. Blah, blah. She was like, you were there?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah. And she said, "Oh yeah, you were there." Yeah,
I saw that single tear go down your eye.
Yeah, it did.
I felt so bad for you, man. He had the one tear.
Yo,
Nigga, this.
you're not gonna say nothing about Mel?
No, he not.
Mel.
Don't worry about it. You don't have to.
Mel,
Burn that big dog.
you a bird.
You don't have to, big dog. That nigga Morris Day. That nigga. Look at him.
It's a brand new.
You flying away.
Mel was 10 toes. Mel was solid.
Yes, people, what you just heard there was episode 775 of the Joe Budden podcast. Yes. What's good, guys? It's your boy Kitchen. Now, we are finally getting some accountability. Something that I have been yearning for with this podcast for quite a few years. Now, I say this because there has been a lot of sidestepping when it comes to podding. Specifically with this podcast. Now, I'm not the only one that thinks this, as I have been on Twitter and many fans have said this. They half-step. They act like they don't care. Most of the subjects they are meant to be talking about, they're not as knowledgeable or they don't do the research beforehand. I feel like this is a common theme with this podcast. And I have always wanted somebody to come in, whether it be a guest or a permanent host, to come in and just give the real. Somebody that is a frequent watcher of the podcast, so they can keep it all the way real with these hosts. Or lack of, in my opinion. Insert Marc Lamont Hill. Marc Lamont Hill has been at the pod for a few weeks now. He just started, so he's finding his feet a little bit with the podcast, and I can't lie, he is doing very well. Well, he's doing better than all the other hosts that have come in. Because I remember Imani, people loved Imani at the beginning because he kept it 100. He seemed to be the people's champ, but as the weeks went on, we started to see his true colours. Whenever Joe would challenge him on certain subjects, he would cower. He would get into petty arguments with Ish. He wouldn't stand on his takes like he used to. And the audience overall just got bored with Imani. And some people, well, a lot of people, started to dislike him. Now insert J1. J1 joined a couple months back. I'd say 2-3 months ago. And people loved J1. People liked him. He kept it 100. He was kind of a breath of fresh air because, let's be honest here, that podcast is full of very old people, old opinions, old ways of thinking. So having J1 there was also good for not only the young audience, but it was also good to kind of get a new perspective, a new and fresh kind of way of thinking from J1. But as the weeks and months went on, people started to dislike J1 because he wouldn't stand on his takes either. And when he would stand on his takes, people would ask him to further explain his take. And he has a rough time in articulating himself in some ways. I can't lie. And that's no shot or anything, but it is what it is. Maybe he will grow within podding. People aren't the best as soon as they get into podding. It takes time to become a seasoned podcaster. So definitely not gonna hold it against him. I just don't like his cocky attitude. He thinks he's he thinks he's better than Rory and Moore. But he needs to relax. Relax. You just got into podcasting. Why are you comparing yourself to people that we love? Just chill out. Podcast and go home. It's not that deep. Stop comparing yourself to seasoned vets. Now, enough of all that stuff. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of the newest pod. Yes, episode 755. Let me give you the backstory. On the last episode of the JBP, they invited Bernice Burgos, the beautiful, the stunning Bernice Burgos. She is obviously very, very attractive. Now, is she a good podcaster? Hell no. Is she a good talker? And I wouldn't say so, but I won't put it against her. It's a podcast. She was probably nervous. But let's talk about this episode, because this episode actually wasn't horrible. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the best. Like, it was in the middle. Now, I say this because Bernice obviously isn't the best talker. She doesn't do interviews, so I'd give her that. But the whole pod is just Joe trying to carry, well, not just Joe, everybody is just trying to carry this interview slash kickback of a podcast. Now, they begin to ask questions about her body. They ask questions about her love life. They ask questions about the Drea situation. Older, seasoned women are going after these young, fresh basketball players and how predatory that can be. She didn't really answer that. She kind of skated around the question, so she never really answered it. She said if two people are grown, it's not predatory behavior, which I highly disagree with. But it is what it is. They then ask her about the most romantic date she's been on. They ask her about her love language. They ask about her sign. Very bird questions, in my opinion. They also never gave her pushback to any of the questions that she answered. And maybe they did that because they didn't want to make her feel uncomfortable. They probably just wanted to make it a nice and chill environment. I'm almost sure they didn't want to make it an interrogation. So I can't really be mad at that. The only problem that I have, not with just this episode, but the JBP in general, I don't like the bird episodes. Like, leave that to the Patreon, like the $50 tier. Let people pay extra to see that shit. Because I don't want to see it. I don't get anything from it, in my opinion. Which is also the reason why I am happy that Marc Lamont finally let the cast know that they are horrible when it comes to interviewing birds. And even when they do interview birds, it honestly feels like any time they're around beautiful, soft women, it just feels like they've never been there before. Just relax, man, chill. But I digress. I also picked up on something else. And it wasn't just me, it was quite a few number of people. Now, whenever Mel is around beautiful women on the pod, it kind of feels like she's intimidated by them, or she just doesn't say anything. But when she does say something, it's kind of shady. It's along the lines of shady. It's not 100% shady. It's like love with like shade sprinkled on like some seasoning. Now, I could be 100% wrong, but this is just something that I sense. But I'm not going to say anything else because that's women's business and I don't want to be seen as chatty patty. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. Do you think Marc is right for checking the whole cast of the JBP? Because that episode with Bernice Burgos, oh my gosh, they applied no pushback whatsoever, and it was pretty bad. It was horrible interviewing skills. So it's hashtag banned baddies. I think that needs to go into full effect because these guys just fold like lawn chairs whenever a woman sits on that couch. But yeah, man, it's your boy The Kitchen. Thank you for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. I appreciate your time. Till next time, deuces.